actually grew up in Minnesota in the 60s and 70s. I grew up in a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Louis Park, sort of 6-square-mile area with the Coen brothers, Al Franken, Michael Sandel. We all grew up there at the same time. Al went to the same Hebrew school, in fact, which is the subject of one of the Coen brothers movies. And when I graduated from high school in 1971, Minnesota was on the cover of Time magazine, our governor, holding up a walleye under the headline, "The State That Works." So my senators growing up were Eugene McCarthy, Walter Mondale, and Hubert Humphrey. My congressmen were liberal Republicans, Bill Frenzel, and Clark McGregor. In other words, I grew up at a place at a time where politics, by the way, the companies were Dayton Hudson, Control Data, Honeywell. They thought it was their job to build the Tyrone Guthrie Theater, not just make a profit. So if you want to know where my optimism, innate optimism comes from, it really comes from where I grew up and when I grew up. I grew up in a place at a time where politics worked. And that had a deep impact on me. And it left me with a feeling that, why can't we go back there again? Why can't we have that today? And that's what distresses me about the moment we're in politically now. Because we actually had a formula for success in this country. And we've gotten away from it. We're not where we are. We didn't get to be where we are by accident. And we're not in this fix we're in by accident. We had a 5-part formula for success. It was first educate our people up to and beyond whatever the technology was. Excuse me, when it was the cotton gin, by the way, I just have to say something. I was on Jeopardy 2 weeks ago, okay? The scariest thing in the world, okay? And I got wrong who invented the cotton gin. That's all I'm going to tell you, okay? So, and I've been using it in my speeches so many times. Anyways, when we had the cotton gin, it was educate your people up to and beyond. So that was universal primary education. When it was the factory, it was universal secondary education. When it's the knowledge economy, it needs to be universal post-secondary education of either vocational or liberal arts. That was the first thing we did. We had that education pillar right. Second, we had infrastructure. We built the world's best infrastructure, roads, airports, telecom, bandwidth, to really enhance and enable commerce. Third, we built the world's most open immigration economy to attract, I can just look out at this room, innovators, the high-end and energetic, lower-skilled people who came to our country and started all these new companies out here. Fourth, we had the best institutions and rules to incentivize risk-taking and prevent recklessness. And last, we had the most government-funded research to push out the boundaries of science and technology so our best minds could pluck off the best flowers and turn them into great companies. That was our 5-part formula for success. It was the greatest public-private partnership in the history of the world. Where is it today? Education. We're now in the PISA tests, we're 25th in the world, basically with Argentina and Slovenia, lovely countries, but not historically our peers, okay? Immigration, did you watch the Republican debates? It was about who could electrocute more Mexicans, basically. It was, I see you an electric fence and I raise you an electric fence. The whole message was, come to this country, get educated, and then get the hell out of here, okay? Infrastructure, I recently flew from Hong Kong to LAX. That's like flying from the Jetsons to the Flintstones today, okay? I mean, LAX looks like one of those 1950s diners, but it wasn't designed that way. It literally is still like a 1950s diner. Subprime crisis? How'd you like them rules, regulations, and institutions? Government-funded research, that graph, it looks like an EKG heading for a heart attack. So if you think of the 5 pillars that made us great as a country, all 5 are now in decline. And that is the source of our problem. So when I hear people stand up and say, I was just one lonely guy. I was just one lonely guy out there. The government had nothing to do with my success. I did this by myself. You didn't do anything by yourself. Did you build those roads? Did you create that legal system? Did you build that bandwidth? You did nothing by yourself. None of us did. What we did was this great public-private partnership where the public enabled the private and the market.
Cambiar vidas,
change organizations,
Change organizations.
change the world.